Good morning. I'm excited today to talk about sort of a epistemological approach to understanding the relationship between the authentic and artificial. I hope that this is a very fruitful topic. Okay, so the relationship between the authentic and the artificial. First, I'm just gonna go through a list and just say some things that are from the artificial side and just load it in our minds so that we can just kind of have these things to kind of grab onto as we discuss the artificial. Artificial are things like turf, incandescent, halogen, fluorescent, LED, laminate, fiberboard, paneling, cement, avenite, formica, counterfeit currency, pseudo-mathematics, artistic forgery. All right, so all of those things are going to be in our artificial column. And when we're discussing like authentic and artificial, what we're discussing is authentic is real or natural or genuine or original or true. The artificial is counterfeit, fake, false, synthetic, manufactured. These are the definitions of these words. And so when we look at turf, we say, okay, and we can identify like, okay, turf is artificial, right? It is, for a lack of a better description, it's a counterfeit grass. But why? And how do we know that? Why is it artificial? And how do we know it's artificial? Well, so interestingly, we don't identify turf as being artificial based on turf. Turf in and of itself does not disclose to you that it's counterfeit grass. The thing that makes turf artificial is that there's an authentic grass. And so as we go through this, let's see if that's true. And what I'm proposing is that the relationship between authentic and artificial can only exist when there is an authentic. So incandescent, halogen, fluorescent, LED, what is all this? Why is this artificial? Why is this manufactured? Why is this synthetic? Well, because it's counterfeit sunlight. Well, how do we know it's counterfeit sunlight? Well, because there's no electromagnetic radiation. There's no vitamin D3 in it. The properties that sunlight have and that they cause this biological reaction, incandescent, halogen, fluorescent, and LED, they don't have that same effect. They can't do that. And so we say, well, that's artificial light. Getting back to our relationship here, could we identify that incandescent, halogen, fluorescent, and LED are artificial lights if there was no sunlight? Now let's talk about laminate, fiberboard, paneling. These are artificial wood. Why aren't they real? Well, they're not biological. We know based on the authentic, we know what the artificial is. Cement, avenite, formica, it's artificial stone, right? Okay, well, why is it artificial? Well, it's artificial because it's not formed through a high-pressured mineralization process over time. Well, that's not how cement, avenite, and formica are made, just as some examples. They're usually made by resin and cement and mixing. They're artificial stone. So how are we able to tell something is pseudo-mathematics? How can we tell? Oh, because we're able to see other pseudo-mathematics. No! The only way that you could know something is pseudo-mathematical is through a mathematical process. It requires the authentic. What about artistic forgery? What makes it an artistic forgery? Well, it's because it's not actually produced by the artist. It's a counterfeit. It's a forgery. Oh, what's the authentic? Well, the authentic version is a masterpiece. You start to view these relationships. I can't identify something that's artificial, counterfeit, or a forgery unless something authentic exists. You're not able to identify a toy gun and not have a threat presented from that toy gun because you've seen other toy guns. You understand the reality of an actual gun. Okay, so you might say to me, well, actually, the toy gun is real. It's really there. It's really a toy gun. But that's semantics. That isn't what we're identifying as authentic or artificial. It is real in that it is matter, But what we're talking about when we're discussing authentic is the power of that real gun, the gravity of what a real gun is. A counterfeit currency doesn't subtract from the fact that there is authentic currency, right? You can't say, oh, some currency is fake, so I don't believe currency exists. Okay, so we start to see this relationship. Wherever there is an authentic, it seems that there is an artificial or a counterfeit or a forgery of that authentic. However, it doesn't look like it goes the other way. It doesn't look like you can have artificial or counterfeits or forgeries without having an authentic. Okay, Aaron, what's your point? Thank you for asking. This is my point. There's only counterfeit gods and counterfeit belief systems because there's an authentic one. You can't have a false idol or a false god unless you have an authentic God. So what's a counterfeit or a false idol or a false god? Well, fortunately, we're told by the authentic God what the counterfeit looks like. Psalm 115 verse 4, their idols are silver and gold, made by human hands. They have mouths but cannot speak, eyes but cannot see. They have ears but cannot hear, noses but cannot smell. They have hands but cannot feel, feet but cannot walk. They cannot make a sound with their throats. Those who make them are just like them, as are all who trust in them. You see, so one way to identify a false idol or a false god is that it's created. But this is what I really like. And this is what I think is the best way to tell. Isaiah 44. And we're going to be starting in verse 6. Isaiah 44, verse 6. This is what the Lord, the King of Israel, and its Redeemer, the Lord of armies, says. I am the first and I am the last. There is no God but me. Who, like me, can announce the future? Let him say so and make a case before me. Since I have established an ancient people, let these gods declare the coming of things and what will take place. Do not be startled or afraid. Have I not told you and declared it long ago? You are my witnesses. Is there any other God but me? There is no other rock. I do not know any. All who make idols are nothing, and what they treasure benefits no one. Their witnesses do not see or know anything, so they will be put to shame. Who makes a god or casts a metal image that benefits no one? Look, all its worshippers will be put to shame, and the craftsmen are humans. They all will assemble and stand. They all will be startled and put to shame. The real God, the authentic God, says there's only one God, and that God is the first and the last. He's the one who existed before anything existed. He can tell the beginning from the end. And the ability for him to do that allows you to be a witness to who the authentic God is. So take a look at Isaiah 53. See if you get an idea that, man, this is the authentic God that is declaring these things. Life ab initio, the origin of life. Look at what the authentic God proposes. And what you'll start to see is you'll always be able to identify the artificial or the counterfeit or the forger to the masterpiece. Thanks for watching. Have a great day, and I really hope you enjoyed my quarantine hair.